If you're over 50 and you've been chugging water all day long hoping to fix your sluggish circulation, I need to tell you something that might shock you. Recent vascular research suggests that the way most seniors drink water could be reducing blood flow efficiency by up to 75% compared to strategic hydration approaches. I know that sounds impossible. We've been told since childhood that water equals better circulation, end of story. But when you look at what actually happens inside aging blood vessels, the picture becomes far more complex. After 50, your cardiovascular system undergoes three critical shifts. Plasma volume contracts, nitric oxide synthesis slows dramatically, and red blood cells lose their natural flexibility. When you pour plain water into this altered environment without the right biological signals, you might be adding volume, but you're not triggering the vascular response your body desperately needs. This explains why thousands of seniors drink their 8 glasses religiously, yet still battle ice-cold fingers, leaden legs, afternoon crashes, mental cloudiness, and exhaustion that won't quit. The hydration is present. The circulation boost isn't happening. What fascinated researchers most is that subtle modifications to water consumption patterns generated measurable blood flow improvements within just 5 to 30 minutes in controlled studies, occasionally matching the short-term performance of prescription vasodilators. These modifications influence blood thickness, vessel wall function, and oxygen transport almost instantly. No pharmaceutical intervention required. Just smarter hydration science. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 evidence-based water strategies that have been shown to enhance blood flow rapidly in people over 50. We'll rank them from foundational to most impactful. Some are so straightforward they might seem too simple, yet the physiology driving them is remarkably sophisticated. My name is Dr. James Whitemore. For the past 12 years, I've specialized in geriatric cardiovascular medicine and circulatory optimization. What I'm sharing with you today is the exact protocol I now discuss with every patient over 50 who walks into my office complaining of poor circulation, cold extremities, fatigue, or brain fog before we even consider pharmaceutical options. Stay through all 5 because the final strategy on this list is the one almost nobody implements correctly, and it requires less than 1 minute of your time. Before we dive into the 5 strategies, you need to understand exactly what's happening inside your circulatory system past age 50, because once this becomes clear, everything else will click into place. Your blood isn't just a simple liquid flowing through tubes. It's an intricate suspension of cellular components, proteins, minerals, and signaling molecules traveling through a network of vessels whose interior lining, called the endothelium, is metabolically active tissue. Healthy endothelial cells manufacture nitric oxide, which is the chemical messenger that tells blood vessels to relax and widen. When nitric oxide production runs strong, vessels expand properly, blood moves freely, and oxygen reaches your muscles, organs, and brain efficiently. Past 50, 3 things happen at once. Number 1, nitric oxide synthase. The enzyme responsible for creating nitric oxide becomes progressively less active. Your vessels don't dilate as readily. Blood pressure climbs because the vessels can't relax the way they used to. Number 2, blood viscosity, essentially how thick your blood is, increases with age as red blood cells become less pliable. Thicker blood demands more effort from your heart to push through tiny capillaries, especially in your extremities and brain. Number 3, total plasma volume decreases. Your circulatory system contains proportionally less fluid. Your kidneys become less efficient at conserving water, and your thirst response, the biological signal urging you to drink, becomes dulled. Many older adults exist in a state of chronic mild dehydration without ever feeling genuinely thirsty. Plain water only solves the third problem. It restores fluid volume, but it does absolutely nothing for nitric oxide production. It doesn't address blood viscosity beyond simple dilution. And when consumed without the proper accompanying minerals, it can actually dilute critical electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium that control how effectively your vascular smooth muscle contracts and relaxes. The end result? You're hydrated by volume but not by vascular function. The water goes in. The circulation response doesn't follow. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Margaret. She was 68, a former accountant, incredibly disciplined about her health routines. She drank 10 glasses of plain water daily, logged every single one in a journal. She came to see me after 3 years of symptoms her primary care physician couldn't explain. Her hands and feet felt perpetually frozen, even indoors during summer. She experienced crushing fatigue every afternoon that forced her into bed. She had persistent mental fog that made simple tasks like balancing her checkbook, something she'd done for decades, feel overwhelming. Her blood pressure readings were normal. Her labs came back clean. Everyone kept telling her she was perfectly healthy. When I sat down and examined her hydration patterns closely, I identified the issue within our first conversation. She was volumetrically hydrated, but functionally undercirculated. Her water intake was more than adequate. Her vascular signaling was broken. We'll return to Margaret shortly, because what happened in her life 8 weeks after implementing the protocol I'm about to reveal to you, specifically strategies 3 and 5, was something she described as reclaiming 15 years of her life. Strategy number 5. Temperature optimized timing specific water intake. This is your foundation. Completely free, remarkably simple, yet more physiologically meaningful than most people understand. The temperature of your water and when you consume it relative to meals and movement directly impacts how quickly it enters your bloodstream and how rapidly it influences plasma volume and vascular response. Studies on water absorption kinetics have demonstrated that room temperature water, approximately 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, gets absorbed substantially faster than ice-cold water. Cold water triggers mild vasoconstriction in your gastrointestinal tract, slowing absorption and temporarily reducing blood flow to peripheral vessels. For seniors already struggling with compromised circulation, this temporary vessel constriction works against you. Even more critical is timing. Consuming water during the 15-minute window before any physical movement, even something as gentle as a neighborhood stroll, maximizes the plasma volume expansion effect. When plasma volume peaks before activity begins, your cardiac output becomes more efficient, vessels dilate more effectively, and circulation to your extremities improves in measurable ways. Research examining pre-activity hydration in older populations demonstrated that drinking 8 to 10 ounces of room temperature water 15 minutes before movement produced significant increases in peripheral blood flow compared to drinking that same amount immediately before or during the activity. The practical application is straightforward. Replace chilled or refrigerated water with room temperature water throughout your day and drink 1 glass 15 minutes before any planned activity, even a short walk around the block. This single modification costs nothing and requires zero preparation. Strategy number 4, mineral fortified water. This is where the mechanistic shift truly begins. Plain water consumed in large quantities dilutes serum electrolyte concentrations, specifically lowering sodium, potassium, and magnesium levels in your blood plasma. These 3 minerals aren't optional nutritional extras, they're the electrical signals governing vascular smooth muscle function. Potassium and magnesium are natural vasodilators, activating the identical pathways that prescription calcium channel blockers target, but through completely natural mechanisms. When these minerals get diluted by plain water intake without replacement, vascular tone increases. Your vessels remain slightly contracted instead of fully relaxing. Your endothelium becomes less responsive to flow-mediated dilation signals. This is the mechanism explaining why some seniors actually feel worse, not better, after dramatically increasing plain water consumption. The solution is beautifully simple. Add a tiny pinch of high-quality unrefined sea salt, not processed table salt stripped of trace minerals, to every liter of water you drink. Unrefined sea salt contains trace quantities of more than 80 minerals, including potassium, magnesium, calcium, and zinc, alongside sodium. This isn't about flooding your system with sodium. A single small pinch per liter increases mineral content by a modest but physiologically significant degree. Alternatively, add a lemon wedge, which contributes potassium and triggers a mild alkalizing response that supports endothelial function, or mix in a splash of pure coconut water to add potassium naturally. Research published in physiology journals found that electrolyte-enhanced water produced markedly superior improvements in vascular conductance and exercise blood flow in older adults compared to plain water over a 2-week period. The vessels responded more robustly. Peripheral circulation improved measurably. The difference wasn't in the volume of water people consumed, it was in what that water carried. Strategy number 3: hibiscus-infused water. Hibiscus tea ranks among the most extensively researched natural vasodilators in published medical literature, yet almost nobody consumes it specifically for circulation enhancement. And almost nobody realizes that drinking it as a cooled, lightly diluted infusion rather than as hot tea dramatically alters its bioavailability and effect onset. The active compounds in hibiscus flowers, particularly anthocyanins and organic acids including hibiscus acid, directly stimulate nitric oxide production in endothelial cells. This is the missing component in the senior circulation puzzle. Plain water doesn't stimulate nitric oxide synthesis. Hibiscus water does. It activates the same biological pathway that many prescription vasodilators attempt to replicate synthetically. A controlled clinical trial published in nutrition research journals found that consuming 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 7 millimeters of mercury in adults with prehypertension over an 8-week span. The confirmed mechanism was endothelial nitric oxide stimulation, the exact pathway that becomes compromised with aging. A separate investigation found acute blood flow improvements within 30 minutes of consumption. Here's how to prepare hibiscus water for maximum circulatory benefit. Steep 4 to 5 dried hibiscus flowers, readily available at most health stores or online, in 2 cups of boiling water for 10 minutes. Allow the infusion to cool to room temperature. Add a small pinch of unrefined sea salt and half a teaspoon of raw honey if you prefer. Consume 1 to 2 glasses daily, not hot, not iced, at room temperature for optimal absorption. The deep crimson color indicates anthocyanin concentration. The richer the color, the higher the active compound levels. Aim for a vibrant burgundy hue, not a pale pink tint. Strategy number 2: morning warm water with lemon and fresh ginger. This combination, consumed specifically within 10 minutes of waking, has a disproportionately powerful effect on morning circulation that makes it the second most potent strategy on this list. Here's why morning timing is absolutely critical. Your cardiovascular system is at its most vulnerable during the first 60 to 90 minutes after you wake. Cortisol surges sharply. Blood viscosity peaks after 7 to 8 hours without fluid intake. Platelet aggregability, your platelets' tendency to clump together, reaches its highest point in early morning hours. This combination creates the highest cardiac event risk window of the entire 24-hour cycle. The majority of senior-related circulatory events, including strokes, heart attacks, and deep vein thrombosis episodes, cluster between 6 and 10 in the morning for precisely these reasons. Warm water immediately upon waking begins thinning your blood and restoring plasma volume before cortisol reaches its peak. Adding fresh squeezed lemon juice provides vitamin C, a direct cofactor in nitric oxide synthesis, plus citric acid, which enhances iron absorption and supports red blood cell health. Freshly grated ginger adds gingerols and shogaols, compounds with documented antiplatelet activity comparable in some studies to low-dose aspirin, but without the gastrointestinal side effects. Research published in cardiovascular journals found that ginger consumption significantly reduced platelet aggregation, the clumping that increases stroke and clot risk in healthy adults. The effect was dose-dependent and rapid, occurring within 90 minutes of ingestion. The protocol is precise. Immediately upon waking, before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else, 8 to 10 ounces of warm, not hot, not cold, water with the juice of half a fresh lemon and half a teaspoon of freshly grated or powdered ginger. Drink it slowly over 5 minutes. This isn't some trendy detox ritual. This is targeted vascular pharmacology using compounds your body already recognizes and utilizes. Strategy number 1: nitrate-rich water timing synchronized with breathing technique. This is the most powerful strategy on the entire list, the least widely known, and the one that most directly addresses the nitric oxide deficiency driving poor circulation after 50. Dietary nitrates found in specific foods convert in your body to nitric oxide through a 2-stage process involving oral bacteria and stomach acid. The key insight from recent research is that this conversion is dramatically amplified when paired with deep diaphragmatic breathing, specifically slow nasal breathing that activates your paranasal sinuses, which themselves produce nitric oxide and contribute to circulatory regulation. Here's the exact protocol. Dissolve 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder into a glass of room temperature water with a small pinch of unrefined sea salt. Drink it slowly over 5 minutes. Immediately afterward, perform 5 cycles of slow nasal breathing. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 2 counts. Exhale through your nose for 6 counts. This breathing pattern stimulates sinus nitric oxide production simultaneously with the dietary nitrate pathway, creating a synergistic vascular effect. Research published in hypertension journals found that dietary nitrate supplementation via beetroot juice lowered blood pressure and improved peripheral blood flow within 2.5 hours in older adults. When combined with slow nasal breathing, documented in separate research to increase nasal nitric oxide output by up to 15-fold compared to mouth breathing, the combined vascular effect substantially exceeds either intervention alone. The optimal timing for maximum effect is 30 minutes before physical activity or mid-afternoon when circulation typically drops. This is the window when the combined nitrate breathing protocol produces its peak vasodilatory impact. You don't need expensive beetroot juice products. A bag of beetroot powder costs just a few dollars and lasts for weeks. The breathing pattern takes 2 minutes. The combined effect on peripheral circulation in your hands, feet, and brain is measurable within 30 minutes. I promised I'd return to Margaret. 8 weeks after I introduced her to strategies 4 and 5, mineral-enhanced water daily and the morning warm lemon ginger protocol, she returned for her follow-up appointment. She'd also added hibiscus water 3 times weekly, more from curiosity than conviction. She hadn't changed her medications, her diet, or her exercise routine in any meaningful way. The frozen hands and feet that had tormented her for 3 years were completely gone. Not improved. Gone. Her afternoon fatigue had vanished so completely that she'd eliminated her daily rest period entirely. She told me she'd read for 5 consecutive hours 2 days in a row, something she hadn't been able to do in years. She said, "Dr. Whitemore, I drank water faithfully every single day for 3 years and nothing changed. You modified 3 things about how I drank it, and my entire body transformed in 8 weeks. Why didn't anyone explain this to me sooner?" That's the gap. The scientific information exists. The research is published, but the 12-minute clinical appointment isn't structured to explain the difference between volumetric hydration and functional vascular hydration to an older adult. That's exactly what this video is for. Let me bring everything together. 5 hydration strategies ranked by impact on blood flow in adults over 50. Number 5, room temperature water timed 15 minutes before activity. Number 4, mineral-fortified water with unrefined sea salt or lemon daily. Number 3, hibiscus water, 1 to 2 glasses per day, room temperature. Number 2, morning warm water with lemon and fresh ginger within 10 minutes of waking. And number 1, beetroot water synchronized with slow nasal breathing 30 minutes before activity or during the mid-afternoon dip. Start with whichever strategy feels most accessible. 1 change applied consistently is worth infinitely more than 5 changes attempted once and abandoned. If the only thing you do after watching this video is switch from cold to room temperature water and add a pinch of unrefined sea salt, you've already fundamentally changed the functional hydration equation in your body. Which of these 5 strategies will you implement first? Tell me in the comments right now. I read every single one. And if you know someone who drinks water all day yet still complains of frozen hands, heavy legs, crushing fatigue, or mental fog, share this video with them. The answer might be exactly this simple. They deserve to know. Subscribe for more honest, research-grounded conversations about what your body needs after 50, the critical information that doesn't make it into a 12-minute appointment but changes everything when it reaches the right person. Take care of your circulation. It's delivering life to every single cell in your body every second of every day. Give it the right signals and it will respond. I'll see you in the next video. Disclaimer. Everything shared in this video is general educational information based on published research in hydration science, vascular physiology, and cardiovascular medicine. It is not a substitute for personalized medical advice. If you are currently managing hypertension, kidney disease, heart failure, or any condition requiring fluid restriction or electrolyte management, please consult your physician before modifying your hydration habits. They understand your specific medical situation. This information is a starting point for that conversation, not a replacement for professional medical guidance.